I've seen drone beans, and these drone beans are the short 3-foot ones, so more or less. Huge heads, huge giant teardrop eyes, skinny necks, and so forth. And they're worker beans, and I believe them to be half biological and half robotic. They are just to perform tasks. Would it be artificial intelligence? I don't think so, because the biological aspect of it. What I would call the true species or the true alien are the ones that govern. They're the taskmasters.
Sure.
This looks like a taskmaster. Now the face, I'm impressed with the eyes. I've always said that what I would call a true alien, when I say, I just separate it from the robotic beings when I say true, and that species, that the eyes are not nearly as big as the giant teardrop eyes as the worker beings, but they're certainly bigger than ours. So what I'm seeing here in the face or the eyes are very, very good.
Their skin was a pale color, and as what is typified or called a grayling is what they looked like.
Okay.
The larger head, the large black eyes, small mouth, small nose, and
is this what they would look like or not?
surprisingly, very much so, but the nose is more protruding here and the lips are fuller. The back is very true to what the graylings were like. They have a musculature across the back like this.
Okay.
And the, but very thin-lipped across here. Their arms very thin, and the hands were long and thin.
About how tall?
About 5 feet tall, okay? But the thing that I saw is when they moved, they were very graceful.
Really?
Very graceful in their movement.
4.5 feet
It
tall.
had this gray head and
Their grayish skin and color.
pointy chin, these large liquid
Shaped
black
heads,
eyes.
kind of pear-shaped heads with large eyes, almond-shaped eyes.
No nose that I could really tell, no lips, you know, just sort of a slit for a mouth.
Kind of snake skinnish, kind of like that very smooth or shark skin or kind of fish skin.
They have just two openings where our nose would be. They have a small mouth. They have no teeth as we know it. They have a hard gum-like area.
There's feet and arms. There's 4 toes and 4 fingers. The smaller appendage had been naturally selected out over evolutionary time. The small digits.
And you look into its goggle-like eyes, you will see round eyes, Mr. Ike, beyond this black goggle-like stuff. And these eyes are the real creature's eyes.
The eyes are an interesting, interesting feature on the J-rod. They are very large. They contain a nictitating type membrane over the top of the eye. That is the darker portion. However, they're not born that way. There is a social convention that they have adopted where the nictitating membranes are actually surgically added after birth. They're not born that way. Very large pupils, very large pupillary capacity because of the pressures of living in a low light area, and their requirements. However, they have a tapetum lucidum type apparatus at the back of their eyes where their retina would be, and that acts very much like a cat's eyes would for concentration, a mirrored surface for concentration of light, and the nictitating type membrane, which is added to them after birth, actually further acts to reflect light back, so it concentrates light in a low light environment. The iris is nearly white, it's albino. If you peel the nictitating membrane off, well, the sclera is present, however, it is almost vestigial. It's pushed toward the back of the globe. And that was just a natural innovation from the evolution of living in a low light yet necessity for concentrating that low light to a perceivable amount type environment. It's present, but it's just not observable.
Their internal organs are quite simple. They have a one organ which does the job of our heart and lungs. Their digestive system is really simple. Their kidney and bladder is one organ. They excrete waste. They have another organ which I don't know if our scientists determined what it was for, but they believe it's to transfer the solid waste and the liquid wastes. Their brain is more complex than ours. It has several different lobes than ours have. Their eyes are, where our eyes are controlled by the back of our head, theirs is controlled by the front of the brain. Their hearing is quite better than ours, almost better than the dog's, small areas.
I mentioned a little bit about the cranial capacity and how the certain sulci are actually moved up and out of the way at the back of the head to make room for this huge complex that almost wraps around their brain like an inner tube, which allows them the telepathic thought and the ability to entrain a normal human.
When they would talk directly to you, it'd be like you were hearing it, not only in your head, but in your ears also, but nobody else could hear it. Even more than that, you could feel the emotions they were feeling.
I could hear my voice. However, the cadence, the affect, was something that distinguished it other than me. I could tell that it was somebody other than me, and I could tell because I felt drawn toward the subject that was sending the communication. I actually felt non-resident for a moment. It was almost an OBE type feeling. And then I could feel myself pull back and experience the sound. It was physical. It was more real than touching an object.
There was a special operations manual called Extraterrestrial Entities and Technology, Recovery and Disposal. And in that manual, there was a one-page description of two different types of extraterrestrial biological entities.
EBE Type 1 is said to be, quote, humanoid and might be mistaken for human beings. They are bipedal, 5 to 5 feet 4 inches in height, and weigh 80 to 100 pounds. Cranium is somewhat larger and more rounded. The eyes are small, wide set, almond-shaped. EBE Type 2 is said to be, quote, 3 feet 5 inches to 4 feet 2 inches and weighs 25 to 50 pounds.
With beings that were typically in the appearance of 3.5 foot high, big heads, oversized eyes, small mouth and everything. They weren't grey in colour, they were blue. So for my own benefit, I refer to them as the blues. They'd emanate so much love and compassion to me. I can't express it, I can't describe it, because I haven't experienced it from any other quarter.
Also another race that were almost like the Greys, but maybe a little bit more pale and a little bit more stocky, but the same type of size. Like almost cousins to Greys, almost.